Hello there. I believe you did not come across this video by accident. And I want you to know that because right now, I know something is not going the way you planned it in your life. And something is hard, something is heavy, and somewhere deep in the back of your mind, there sits a question that you have been too afraid to ask out loud. Is God actually in this? Stay with me because by the time this video is done, the question is going to have an answer that changes how you see everything you are walking through right now. And let me tell you this. You may be tired, but there is that type of tired where it's not falling asleep on the couch. It is where you wake up in the morning and your eyes are not even fully open. The weight is already there, back in your chest. That looks like praying the same prayer without receiving an answer for months. It is like watching people around you move forward while you feel stuck in the same place, wondering what you have done or doing wrong. That kind of tired is real, my brother, my sister. And we are not going to stand here and tell you to just have more faith, as if faith is something you manufacture on demand when everything in your life is pushing against you. What I'm going to do is to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: the fact that life is hard does not mean God is gone. It means something is happening that you cannot see with your naked eyes. I'll start by telling you the story of Joseph, and I want to tell you about this man. Now, if you know the story, I want you to stay with me because I want you to see it different today about the young man Joseph who had God-given dream, and his life started falling apart almost immediately after the dreams arrived. His own brother hated him so much they threw him into the pit and sold him like he was nothing, and he ended up in a foreign country as a slave. Then just when things started looking up, he was falsely accused by a woman, thrown into the pit in the prison, and in the prison he helped a man get out, and that man forgot about him for 2 full years. Now, here is what I want you to sit with. At no point in any of that did God show up and explain himself. There was no voice from heaven saying, Joseph, hang in there, I have a plan. There was no burning bush in that moment. There was just one painful chapter after another with no explanation in between. But here is the part that will wreck you in the best possible way. Every single thing that looked like it was destroying Joseph was actually positioning him. The pit led to Egypt. The slave led to the palace household. The false accusation led to prison, and the prison led direct to the throne room of Pharaoh. There was not one waste moment, not one painful chapter that God did not use. And when Joseph was finally stood before his brother, he said something that could only come from the man who had seen God work through the worst of it. He said, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. That is the God we are talking about today. The one who takes the very thing that was meant to finish you and turns it into something to position you. Now, I need to say something, and I need you to really hear it. Your hard season is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It is often a sign that God is preparing you for something that the current version of you is not yet ready to carry. Think about it. The blessing that God has for you or for your next chapter requires a vision of you that does not exist yet. And the only way to become that vision is to go through the fire that burns away everything that cannot come with you into what is next. The impatience, the insecurity, the need to control everything, the vision of faith that only works when life is comfortable. All that has to go. And it does not go through a comfortable season, it goes through the exact kind of season you are in right now. So the pressure you feel right now is not punishment, it is the process. And there is a massive difference between those two things. Punishment says you did something wrong, and now you are paying for it. Process says God sees where you are going, and He is making sure you are ready to handle when you get there. Now, you may ask, what is God building in you right now? Let me be specific about what is actually happening inside your hard season, because I do not want this to be a video that just feels good for a moment and leaves you baseless. God is building your roots right now. You did not know that trees that grow in areas with no wind are actually structurally weak. They grow too, but they have shallow roots because they never needed to develop depth to survive. But a tree that has been through storms develops a root system so deep that the next storm cannot knock it over. It has learned how to hold. God is not letting you blow over in this season. He is making a tree that holds. God is also writing your testimony right now. The very thing you are going through today is going to be the very thing that sets somebody else free tomorrow. Your pain is not just about you. There is somebody in the other side of your breakthrough who needs to hear how you made it through this season. And the story cannot be told without this chapter being in it. And maybe you are, or most importantly, God is deepening your trust right now, because of faith that has ever seen good days is actually a fragile faith. But a faith that has looked at impossible circumstances and chosen to believe anyway, that is faith that can move mountain. And God needs you to have that kind of faith for what is coming next in your life. Don't give up, my brother. Here is what you have to do. I am not going to leave you with just a beautiful idea. I want you to give you something real to hold on to. Keep talking to God even when it feels completely one-sided, even when the silence is deafening, even when the words barely come and all you can manage is God. I do not understand this, but I am not letting go. That is not a weak prayer. That is one of the strongest prayer a human being can pray, because you are choosing to hold on to someone you cannot see in the middle of something you did not choose. That is real faith. And watch what you are saying about your situation, because your mouth is either building your future or teaching it or tearing it down. Every single day, you may feel forgotten, but start saying it out loud that God knows your name. You may feel finished, but start declaring out loud that God is not done with me. He's not done. Speak the truth. Even when your feelings are screaming something completely different. What you said in the dark season shapes what you step into the next season. Child of God, I want to end with this. Whatever chapter you are in right now, however long this season has lasted, however many times you have asked God to change it and felt like nothing moved, this is not the end of your story. It is a chapter. And chapters end. Joseph's pit was not his final destination. David's cave was not his final destination. And whatever you are in right now is not your final destination either. God has a way of showing up in the moment when you have run out of options. And everything in you has finally let go of trying to figure out yourself. And in that moment, he reminds you that he was working the entire time. Even in the silence, even in the waiting, even in the pain, he was working. So do not quit and God. Because the chapter that comes after this is one of your life, what your life has been building towards. Hold on and keep believing. Keep talking to him. And if this video reads something real inside of you today, do me a favor and share it with somebody who needs to hear it right now. Subscribe, because we're just getting started here. And I pray that may God uplift you. May God give you the strength to hold on. May God gives you that ability, that grace to continue moving towards your destiny. It may be hard, but with God, nothing is impossible. I pray for that brother. I pray for that sister, for that family going through hard times right now, that may you receive the grace of God to continue. Even as God is writing your story, even as God is dismantling things that should fall off from you, as you enter as a new version, a new human being into the next season, the next phase. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, may God bless you. Shalom. Subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye bye.